Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake Up, Wake Up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Ho. Hey. Wake up, wake up. Ho. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up.
Ugh, that doesn't taste good. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning.
It's August 25th. It's the last Friday of August. This is Wake Up in Provincetown. I'm Bob Keary.
I'm Harrison Fish.
Thank you so much for waking up with us. We've got a wonderful show for you today. Who's on the show, Harry?
I sat down with Dr. Sadie, our local veterinarian, to chat about her new practice across Route 6.
I got to sit down with the legend herself, MommaLee Curtis. This interview took place all the way back in March, way before the summer had begun. The summer is now almost over. I'm actually wearing pants. You can't see that because of this white desk, but it's already pant season. Ann Hutchinson isn't here to give us the weather, but it's raining right now, and it's like that cold, early fall rain. It's not that summer rain anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not saying summer's really over,
Yeah.
but it's starting to feel like it, don't you think so?
We also have Laurie and Sophie coming in to talk about the imminent arrival of a crisis pregnancy center, which that sounds great, but it's not.
Nope, it is the opposite of great.
And we're going to talk about that.
How was your week?
It was great.
Well, you said that with a question mark. It was great.
I had to think. I feel like July and August, once you get towards the end of the season, your weeks start to feel like months. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, like things that you did, and especially as we prepare for the show, I'm like, what did I do last weekend? I'm like, that was only last weekend? Like, Carnival was a week ago.
I know.
It seems like it was a month ago.
It does.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that amazing pool party at the Brass Key that you attended that you didn't talk about last week.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about it last week, but last Monday I went to the pool party at the Brass Key, which is kind of a like a signature Carnival event. The theme was Malibu. My drag mama Tadana was there, dressed as the original Barbie in her black and white striped bathing suit, running around.
Iconic.
Yeah, I was kind of half a let's say 80% a party goer, 20% a handler.
So you were really just there to party?
I mean, yeah. But I
What
was.
were you handling? Who were you handling?
Todd.
Oh.
I was just helping Todd. You know, when you're in full drag, everything becomes cumbersome. You have nails on, so you can't really pick anything up. You have hair falling in your face, your wig sliding back. I mean, this is me, not Todd. Todd is much more of a professional than I.
Polished.
Yeah. But she looked phenomenal as the original Barbie. I can't imagine a person who would have done it better. The party was incredible, just packed with boys, some really hot go-go dancers. The DJ was fantastic. It was just a really cute event.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fast forward a week. What did you do this week?
Well, I do have to say after, and I imagine it's going to be the same thing today. After I finished the show, I literally stood up, clocked in at the iPad behind me to work a shift at the brewery, and it was one of the most insane shifts I've worked here at the brewery. When I left at 4 o'clock, we had done double in sales what we would typically do on an entire busy Saturday.
The Friday after Carnival.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, it's the same thing as the Red Inn. It's like when the weather is gray or a little rainy, everything gets wild because no one goes to the pools, no one is doing the bike trails, no one is walking out to Boyd Beach, no one is hiking and the walking trails. Everyone is like, let's be inside and have a beer. I'm sure. Were you crazy at the Red Inn that day as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eaten and drank, and
Yeah.
that's all there is to do on those sorts of days.
Yeah. But the vibe was good here at the brewery. I do have to say though,
What?
I had this, not that I had this realization while I was working at the brewery, it's something I've always felt. I feel like through the 80s and 90s and into the 2000s with like this extreme corporatization of restaurants and corporate restaurants. I'm sorry, I'm trying to work on my diction.
Oh, by the way, before we go on, I have to say we're constantly meeting friends and fans of the show. People will walk into where we're working and be like, I love your show. It's so nice to meet you in person. So thank you all for
100%.
watching and for saying stuff like that. Somebody I met the other day came into the Reddit and said, I love your show. I'm a huge fan. Just a couple notes. You should always wear solids because it makes your arms look better.
Ooh.
Thank you for the note. And Harrison needs to work on his diction.
trippingly on the tip of the tongue and the teeth.
Red leather, yellow
Red
leather.
Yellow leather. There
Red
we go.
le- yeah.
Gotta get that tongue warmed up.
Yeah.
It is early for me. I know it's not early for other people, but it's very early for me as a lifelong industry worker.
Warm up that tongue, Harry, like you're at a boy beach orgy. Is that a diction exercise? Boy beach orgy. Boy beach orgy.
But back to my realization, I really firmed up my realization this past Friday, which is the corporatization of restaurants created this idea where like the customer's always right. It's everything, like your job as an industry worker is to kind of take in everything and then put all the problems onto yourself, and the problems that your customers create, they never have to acknowledge them. You're never allowed to point them out. And I decided that's over.
Yay!
Yeah.
I was expecting a round of applause.
The only clap? Okay. Well, it's just like a social contract of like you're at a restaurant, just like know what's going on, be aware of your surroundings, and also help create a good experience for yourself, and not through like labor or anything, but Friday, we're so busy. It's just me and Sunny in the building. There's a line of 10 or 15 people waiting to get beers, and me and Sunny are busting our asses trying to get beers in these people's hands as fast as possible because we know that's what they want. They know that's the experience they want. And then people that have been waiting in line for probably 10 minutes get to the front and they walk into the counter and go, so what do you got? And then start looking at the menu. I'm like, babe, no, step aside if you don't know what you want. And I started getting I wouldn't say nasty, curt.
You were getting curt?
Firm. Like literally people, if they walked up and they weren't, and I was like, what beer could I get you? And they were like, I would be like, step aside, next. And it's just little things like that. Like you waited in line for 10 minutes and didn't think now is my chance to decide what I want.
Have the card out too, or the cash.
Yeah. I feel like people...
Be ready.
And I feel this in a lot of places in which I work. People don't feel like they need to think or make a decision unless I'm standing there waiting for them to make a decision. Do you ever feel like that way at the Red Inn where you like, people have been sitting for 5 minutes and you're like, oh, I gotta take their order. They're waiting for me to take their order. I'll get to them. And then you get over there and they're like, oh, right. No, we're ready. We're ready. Do you want oysters? I'm like, it doesn't sound like you're ready.
Does this qualify as a rant? I think we're ranting right now.
Yeah.
We're bringing back rants and raves. It's the end of August, you guys.
Yeah.
And you know what though? It is, I don't want to make a sweeping generalization, but it's the August people that I find the most are like, no, I swear I'm ready. So what do you? It's now.
But it's also people that we're so thankful that they're here and it's August. They're kind of in this like August relaxation because they know they're here because it's their last chance before they have to get back to school, start carting their kids around again, things like that. So they're kind of like, they're in this vibe of being utterly chill.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we love that. And we love that you're chill, but
know what you want.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, people who know what they want get what they want. People who don't know what they want get asked to step aside for a second.
Yeah, and it's also like when you're at the Red Inn or the brewery, it was me and Sunny. There's probably 150 people in this tiny room. Not tiny, but for 150 people. And there's two of us, and I'm giving you my attention out of the 150 people here, and you can't give me your attention. My attention is more valuable than yours, and please respect that. I'm just saying that
in
like,
this instance,
I'm waiting on 150 people. You have 2 people to wait on you. If I'm here standing in front of you, give me your attention. Work with me. I'm trying to get your order. I'm trying to give you things. I'm trying to provide you service. Allow me to do that.
Somebody has Augustitis.
Oh yeah.
Bad.
But I'm being friendly and smiling while I say it.
Next Friday is September.
I know.
And before Friday.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bummed. My show, The Fantastics, is just finished a full week of sold out shows. Yeah.
There's the
Thank
clap you were hoping for.
But it was a really great show. Mark and Paul came this past Monday.
Aww.
Mark loved it. He knew the show a little, and it wasn't quite his favorite, but he did say that the kind of like joy and silliness that we brought to it kind of made it fun again, right? Yeah. I have a list of everyone that came this week because so many people came. John Richardson came at the end of last week. Mark and Paul came on Monday. Tuesday, Anthony and Andrew, the Houses. Yeah. They came on Tuesday. Wednesdays, the Chris's and Tangle came.
Aww.
They sat at one. We have immersive seating, which are a couple cocktail tables right on the, or cabaret tables right on the stage, and they sat at that table. And the cast in general said that that was basically the chat of the cast behind the scenes is often rating the audience. And it's because sometimes you have really incredible audiences that are right there with you, laughing at all the jokes, really feeling the energy of the show, and you feel that energy coming at you, and it gives you a lot of energy. And then other times it's like you're like, are there people out there? And Wednesday night was just like by far the best audience, and it was just such a magical experience to be able to perform for an audience that is just like really loving it. And I would say that Chris and Tangle had a big part in that because they're up front, they're in front of everyone.
Good laughs.
They both have, all three of them have really engaging laughs. Chris Spalding especially finds joy in everything, and there's so much joy to be found in the Fantastics, and he found every bit of it, and it was just radiating from that table. So thank you so much for coming. That was great.
At work yesterday, a bunch of people were buying tickets to see it online.
Oh, great.
On their phones.
Great.
Because the waiters are always looking at their phones at work. But at least they were buying tickets to your show.
Yeah, I think next week is going to sell out again.
Get them now.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, I'm so grateful for everyone who came to the show and everyone who even wanted to come to the show who didn't get the chance. But it is like you look back and it's a little bummer that we had like our first few weeks we had a couple audiences that had 60 people in it, 65, when we can see 110, and now people who waited to the last minute aren't gonna be able to see it because we're selling out.
Clamoring.
Yeah, which is also like, I'm right there with y'all. I wait till the last minute to see a lot of things in town as well, but yeah, support the arts. I did just find out that I think it's like less than $250 to become a subscriber, so if you live here year round, it's $250 to become a subscriber. I'm fairly certain you get tickets to all the shows. Included. You're supporting, even if you can't make it to all the shows, you're supporting local art. This is the birthplace of American theater, and I think having the Provincetown Theater here is extremely important, and they do such incredible work. And they also just announced in more Provincetown Theater news, after we closed, they're actually remounting Casa Valentina.
They are?
Which was almost an entirely sold out run of their show the first time. I think they ran for 16 shows and they sold out all but 2, and so they're remounting that show for a couple more weeks in the beginning of September. So I think it's up on the website now. You can go to the website and get tickets for that. It's entirely the same cast except for Ann Stott isn't able to reprise her role, but Racine Oxtoby, who is amazing, is going to be filling in that role. Racine Oxtoby volunteered here at the brewery to be kind of like the backstage helper for the Bearded Mistress pageant, and she's another person who just has incredible, helpful energy. Everyone was so appreciative of
Great
having her
writer
back
too.
there. Yeah. She actually came to, speaking of other things I did last week, last Friday, Friday night I hosted the Night of 1,000 Barbie party at Purgatory also with Tadana.
You had the longest Friday ever. You did a show that night too.
It was literally wake up, turn around and clock in here, work till 4:30, the craziest shift I've ever worked, ran home, showered in a half hour, got to the Provincetown Theater, did the show, bowed, walked off stage, sat down in the dressing room, and painted my face in 30 minutes. Ran to Purgatory, all my drag was in Todd's car. I got into full drag next to a dumpster, which I think is an iconic Provincetown experience. I think everyone's done that before. And then danced my little heart out for the next 3.5 hours at Purgatory in 6-inch heels.
And then fell down the stairs.
Okay, I fell down the stairs at the beginning of the party. So I'm in full drag, I'm dressed as Totally Hair Barbie, so I do have a wig that touched my ankles.
Oh. That's dangerous.
So we get there, we arrive, we're upstairs at Porch Bar, kind of saying hi to everyone, letting everyone know that we're gonna be downstairs dancing for the Night of 1,000 Barbies party. And then me and Todd are like, let's go downstairs. So I start walking down the stairs, I get all the way down the stairs, and then take that last step off the stairs onto the street. And what I didn't quite realize is that the last step to the street isn't a full step. So when I stepped down, my heel wasn't quite under my body weight, so my body weight went over my heel, and then I landed on my right knee, which almost immediately started bleeding through my 4 layers of tights. Everyone across the street at Shipwreck was staring at me as my probably 55-inch wig all came forward over my head. It just wasn't cute. Like, honestly, one of the most, it's just like...
Andrew, can you roll the video of that happening?
We'll get the tape from Purgatory.
Yeah, I think I have a picture from the night of 1,000 Barbies party. But that is me, Todd, Scarlett, who did an incredible Barbie number. She kind of did the cowgirl Barbie from the Barbie movie, which was awesome. And then I think in the picture is also Angelo, who did his drag debut as Teresa, Barbie's best friend. Peter Toto also had an incredible look. He kind of looked like strawberry shortcake a little, but very cute. He was so helpful for me that night, helped me get into drag, amazing, helper. And also Racine Oxtoby looked amazing as well.
Fun.
Yeah. My knee is still currently bleeding.
At least you had 4 layers of something over it.
That's true. But a week later, wounds shouldn't still be bleeding, but when you do nothing but work behind a bar, because you're like constantly crouching and on your knees and moving and getting stuff, and then crawling around on stage for the Fantastics, I think maybe mid-September it'll heal.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. What did you get up to last weekend?
What did I get up to last weekend?
Did you see any shows?
No. Did
Nothing?
I don't think so.
What did you do on Sunday?
Oh, on
You went to
Sunday,
drag brunch.
I did go to drag brunch. Billy Weston was in town visiting. He was part of the opening team at Strangers and Saints. He doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Austin, but it's always fun when Billy comes to town because Billy wants to do all the things. He was like, let's go to both drag brunches. And I was like, okay. And Mona Moore, she of not drag brunch fame, came to both drag brunches. It was like really ironic sitting at drag brunch with Mona.
I just imagine her being like, meh.
No, she was having the time of her life.
Oh, I'm sure.
We had a great time. And then we went to the harbor. We just had, a tourist
Which drag
day.
brunches did you go to?
The Crown and Anchor and the Post Office.
Who was at the Crown and Anchor? Mackenzie, Delta,
That day it was
Kaya?
Delta, Kaya, Mackenzie, and Roxy.
Damn, all of them.
I know.
Yeah.
Super fun. It was just a great Sunday off. On Wednesday, I had another amazing tourist. No, I guess this isn't really a tourist day. This is a local thing to do. To go to Hatches Harbor for the afternoon at high tide when the tidal pool is deep and like the current is taking you towards the Race Point Lighthouse. It was the most perfect, beautiful, warm, still summer day. And then yesterday, I thought I was going to be off. I ended up working because somebody got sent home from work sick, which happens. I got the call while I was grocery shopping, and I was like, "Are you fucking with me?" And they were like, "No, he just left. He's ill. Can you get here ASAP?" And I got there ASAP.
We love to see it.
And it was really fun and busy. And there were a lot of people who came to the Red Inn last night who I wouldn't have gotten to see. And they were like, "This is our only chance to come all week. We're so glad you're working." I was like, "Me too." So glad I'm working. But no, it was fun. It was great. Good week.
I worked Saturday and Sunday till 5 on Sunday, and then ran home, showered, and then scooted over to the Provincetown Inn. What's the little like pub in the Provincetown Inn called?
Oh right, the West End Grill.
West End Grill. It was Chris Spalding's surprise 40th birthday party. He was on the show last Friday, if you saw that, and he came to see the Fantastics.
He looked surprised.
Yeah, I think he was surprised. There was probably about 50 people that gathered there. It was very, very cute. Yeah. And then, but I had to leave almost directly after this. I literally like yelled surprise. I was like, "Oh my God, happy birthday!" And then ran out because I went to go see Jouot's show. I had seen it already. Typically, Jouot's show has 2 backup dancers, Brad and Evan of Cafe Heaven fame. But they're out of town. They're traveling in Italy at the moment. So instead of replacing them with dancers, he replaced them with Hillary and Brittany as backup singers. So I wanted to see this new iteration of the show. It was amazing. It's going to be this Sunday as well with Brittany and Hillary, and I would definitely suggest checking it out if you haven't seen Jouot's show, or even if you have. It was awesome. And I actually there's a bit that he does for the gluttony section where he pulls someone up and then his backup dancers / backup singers maniacally feed them grapes through the course of the song. And
while they're singing?
I have a picture of that. No, they're not singing. Jouot's singing a song from Into the Woods, and then Brittany and Hillary were stuffing grapes in my mouth. Luckily, I really love grapes. Yeah.
Oh my God, you know what I forgot to say? I finally got to go to Mistralino.
Oh, no way.
Finally, at the end of the summer, you get to go to some of your favorite restaurants. And have you been this year?
No. I was just thinking, maybe I'll go tonight.
On their dessert menu, it says one of the choices is cotton candy. And I was like, I haven't had cotton candy since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And the waitress was like, it's served in a martini glass. as like a fun presentation, and we were like, let's get it. The martini glass is this tall. The cotton candy is no, I'm not kidding, is like this. I wish I had a picture of it.
A martini glass.
Every table around you was like, they thought it was a wig, and people were like, are they going to put that on? And it took like half an hour.
That's really cute.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Go to Mr. Lino and get the cotton candy. It's a really fun experience.
And the lasagna.
And your teeth will fall out.
Oh, we love our teeth falling out.
Halfway through, I was like, oh, ache.
Do you know what I got to do this Tuesday that I have never done before?
What?
I rented me and a group of friends rented a pontoon boat.
You had never rented a pontoon boat before?
No. It's a really good deal. It was $600 altogether, but we had 10 friends, so it was $60 a piece. You get to go out on a pontoon boat for 4 hours. It was very windy on Tuesday, but it was really nice. The spectrum of the way people reacted to being out on this boat was very vast. Joe and Andrew were wrapped in a blanket the whole time. I was in a Speedo and swimming around the boat.
Peter just sent Andrew the picture of me with the cotton.
Oh my God. But it was amazing. We had a really fun group. It was Kelly Fields, Brittany, Rolfs, Tracy, Sunny, Joe, Andrew, Mikey. It was cute.
This Andrew?
No.
Andrew wasn't invited.
Neither was this Bob.
Neither was this Mark.
Oh no. We should do a wake up pontoon day.
Our days are numbered.
I know. But it was great. The staff over at Flyers is amazing, fun, friendly. Emily Scarlett was there, who's one of my favorite people in town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rent a boat from Flyers. It was awesome.
It is.
I think all I have left is news. So let's do Babes and Boys now, and then we'll come back with news. Babes and Boys is Sam and Carmen. They're here to fill you on all the amazing things we've got going on this week in Provincetown.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. I just want to give a big shout out this week to Michelle Axelson and the group Gays Against Guns, who organized a walk for Laurie, Carlton, who was shot this past week for flying. She's an ally flying a LGBTQ plus flag. Moment of silence for her. And thank you again to Michelle and the Gays Against Guns for holding a rally and a march and a vigil. It's really important that we uphold our allies and our community, especially in this time. So thank you for that. Speaking of our allies and our community, we have a lot going on this week. Starting on Friday, we have Porch Fest. Porch Fest is this week in Wellfleet. It's on Main Street from 1:30 to 5. Also, there's a theater group in town called Sailor Beware. They're performing Faith Healer at 5 p.m. at St. Mary's. And the Provincetown Dance Festival is in town at 7 p.m. at the Truro Center for the Arts at Castle Hill Edgewood Farm. So don't miss that. But if you're in town on Friday night, there's also Friday Night the Movies. It's the last one for the Provincetown Art Society and Provincetown Film. It's at 7:15 and it is The Graduate. And one more event that you're not going to want to miss is Eggs Isle. It's at the Davis Space at WOMR. This is Miss Saltine's Eggs Isle in the flesh, starting at 7:30 at the Davis Space at WOMR.
On Saturday, the Porch Fest in Wellfleet continues from 1:30 to 5. Sailor Beware's play Faith Healer again will be at St. Mary's at 5 p.m. And the Provincetown Dance Festival also happening again 7 p.m. at the Truro Center for the Arts, Castle Hill. The Mosquito Story Slam will return again to Provincetown Theater, and that's 7 p.m. on Saturday. Cafe is from 8 to 11. I've heard really good things. The Fruit Basket Comedy Series will continue 8:30 this Saturday at the Red Room.
So you don't want to miss Kristen Becker and all of her fruit baskets. On Sunday, if you've been sleeping on the post office cabaret's brunch, do not miss out at all. Run. Get some tickets to see Anita Cocktail's Drag Brunch. The lineup is always fantastic. It's featuring Anita Cocktail, Abby Cummings, Giselle, Raquel Blake, and a special guest. Seatings are at 11:30 and 1, so you don't want to miss that. Mm-hmm. And then later on that night at the post office, Bitch is at 10 p.m.
This is the start of their entire tour, so it's going to be really exciting that they're starting it here in P-Town at the Post Office Cafe at 10 p.m.
Don't miss out. Monday, we have our favorites Lisa Bello and Mike Flanagan at the club. Also,
Manic Mondays with Darlene and Billy Huff. That's at the Post Office Cafe. Tuesday, we have a conversation in support of the art of Bob Mackie at the East End Books at 5 p.m. with Bob Mackie. So check that out.
I know Bob Mackie's going to be in town at the East End Books. Come and check out Bob Mackie.
Also, our See You Next Tuesday party is this Tuesday. It is a blue moon that next day, so we're doing a blue moon celebration. The Not Dolly show is going to be at the Red Room on Tuesday. That's at 8:30 p.m.
Wednesday, there's a free movie showing at the Provincetown Library at 5:30 p.m. It's Where Love Has Gone. It's Betty Davis. You're not going to want to miss it. Free movie. Come check that out. Also, the summer concert series is ripping it up because the Rip It Ups are there at Herring Cove Beach between 6 and 8 p.m. K-Pod's favorite.
Also on Wednesday at 7:30, Olivia from Sole Luna will be doing a full moon sound bath on the beach. Just meet by the large blue chair.
Full moon sound bath for the blue moon.
It's really, really cool. You should check it out.
Definitely check that out. And then on Thursday, Lily Mae Harrington, if you didn't catch her the first couple times, she is also performing again at the Post Office Cabaret at 8:30. Full week of things to do.
Yeah.
We'll see you out there. Thank you so much. And go support everyone that has supported you in this life.
Thank you so much, Sam and Carmen, for filling us in. We do have a couple more events that we wanted to make sure we highlighted extra.
What's happening tonight?
Tonight is Mother Disco. We had we had the DJs of that party on last year, and I managed to make it, which is rare. But it was amazing, such a fun party. I heard they already have a ton of pre-sold tickets, so you know it's going to be a killer party. They're moving over into the Paramount to make everyone fit. It's going to be it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, go dance your ass off tonight. You can buy tickets at onlyatthecrown.com. Right?
Yeah.
Good.
What's this?
Oh, next Friday, one of my favorite local artists, our friend Matthew Bielen, is teaching a class at the PAM called Closing Your Eyes to See Abstraction Through the Unconscious with Matthew Bielen.
Oh, cool.
You can see his work all over town. The countertop at the surf club.
No way.
It's beautiful. I know, and we were sitting there, Quinn and I were sitting there having a glass of wine the other day, and we were like, who did this? And the bartender was like, oh, there's a QR code over there. And it was Matthew.
No way.
I know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've never been to Surfside. I'm going to have to check it out.
Go.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it was
beautiful.
closed for most of the time in which I've been
it's
living
back.
here.
Go to the surf
Yeah.
club. Have a froze.
Yeah, and it was such a bummer when they first renovated. They had no windows,
Right.
But they put windows in. I'm very excited to see that
It's
because they're right on the
gorgeous.
water. So that's exciting. I'm gonna have to go check that out.
But next Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Work.
Friday, September 1st. It's already September. Go
Work.
take this class. He's such a talented artist and a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Hi, Matthew. Good morning.
Also, this Sunday, I'm gonna be singing at Great Music at 5 over at the UU with John Thomas. John Thomas is the music director of my show, The Fantastics, and he invited me and Peter to sing there this Sunday. The theme is Codependent Broadway, so it's all about love.
Oh.
Yeah, we're singing one of the songs from The Fantastics, and then we're each going to be singing a solo.
That's it? You're not going to do I Will Never Leave You from Sideshow?
No. But there's, that is a very codependent song.
They're attached. Conjoined twins.
But I got to check. We did a little promo for the Fantastics at Great Musics at 5 probably a month or two ago, and there were so many singers that I had never heard before that blew me away. So it's some high quality talent over there at Great Music at 5 on Sundays. So
every Sunday at 5?
yes, yeah. Let's do news.
Okay, wait. Can I do a rant first?
Rant, Bob.
This is a rave rant. Back to raves and rants. It's both simultaneously. And we're going to follow this up with a 13-second PSA video. Everybody knows or should know about the leash law here in Provincetown. If you are on one of the town beaches, your dog needs to be on a leash. And so I would like to rave about the dog people whose dogs are on leashes. And now I would like to rant about the people who are trying to skirt this law by having their dog on a leash and then letting go of the leash. I was at the West End parking lot beach the other day with a friend of mine. Her 5- and 6-year-old daughters and her mother were with us, and the girls were running it was kind of lowish tide. They were like splashing around in the water far away from where we were sitting on the bench having our breakfast sandwiches. And these 3 dog people walked by with dogs on leashes, off leash. Andrew, can you show them this video real quick? I guess the dogs are on leashes.
Oh, you were on leash.
The people just aren't holding them. So, one of those little yappy dogs started chasing after my friend's 2 daughters and snipping, biting, and the girls were running and screaming as little girls do. And the dog owner goes, don't run, you're making it worse. And I was like, You're gonna yell at my friends' kids when you're not holding the leash? I really hoped that would snap in half. Hold on to the leash. I think the point of the law is that you're holding on to the leash.
Fairly certain.
If you can identify any of those 3 people, they're officially on my shit list. That's it.
Yeah. I love when I'm biking or walking down Commercial Street and someone isn't paying attention to their dog and they're like this. They're on one half of the street and their dog's on the other half and they just have like what is that called? Like just a clothesline across the street as people are biking, walking, the whole bit.
Totally. I mean, and people, I do these little rants and people are like, you hate dogs. I don't hate dogs, I hate dog people. It's the people that are the problem. Just like when there's an irritating child, it's the parent that's the problem.
Yeah. I love dogs so much.
I do too.
But I feel like people who think that they love dogs so much don't actually love dogs. They love the way their own ego is reflected back at them through their dogs. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, totally.
It's like dogs are animals, and if you own a dog, you are responsible for that animal.
It is not another person.
It is not.
It is not your child.
No, it's an animal that you are in charge of. And you have to be in charge of it.
Yeah, you've lived with dogs. You live with one now, right?
No. Oh yeah, Bravo. Yeah. He's so often not there because he's in DC, but yeah. Please
hold on to the leash.
And it's one of those things that the town is inhabited by such a wide variety of people, animals, a wide variety of transportation modes, and people are always pointing fingers at other people. And the thing is it's every person's responsibility to behave in a way that keeps everyone around them safe.
Yeah, it's not the scooters or the bicyclists, it's the dog people.
It's D, all of the above. Pedestrians, dogs, bikes, scooters. And within all those groups, there are people who behave accordingly, and within all of those groups, there are people who do not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Benji says in all caps, I love all dogs so much.
Benji does love dogs.
That's fine. Keep it on a leash.
Okay, finally to news.
Benji.
So Sha'Carri Richardson is back in the news. You might remember her from last Olympic cycle. She was disqualified for testing positive for THC. Yeah. Well, she's back in the news. She had a big stumble. She was kind of counted out by media and people within the sport, but she is officially the fastest woman in the world right now. She did a personal best for the 100-meter title at the World Athletics Championships in Hungary. Her time was 10.65 seconds for the 100-meter. She beat out, in an upset, she beat Jamaican sprinters Shericka Jackson and also Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. But she did say running against them is what fueled her personal best, and she was like, if I was not running against those two incredible women, there's no way I would have done my personal best. So this puts her in a good position to lead the U.S. team in the upcoming Olympics, and we love that a queer woman is the fastest woman in the world.
And I mean, her competitors should hope she's smoking weed. Have you ever tried to sprint while stoned?
No.
It
I
slows
only sprint
me
to the
down.
fridge. Her mantra going in was, I'm not back, I'm better.
Work. I can't wait for the Olympics next summer.
So in what I think of is in one of the most misogynistic ways of protecting women, what is it called? The International Chess Federation, otherwise known as FIDA, banned trans women from competing against cisgender women in competitive chess, saying that trans women have no right to participate in official FIDE events for women until after a study, basically insinuating that men are smarter than women and more able to play chess.
Did you know this?
This is
so dumb.
It's also like statistically untrue. If you look at the leaders, the highest, because it's a point system when you're a chess player, and when you look at them and put the men and women together, a man is the best chess player in the world right now, and second is a woman, third is a man, fourth is a woman, which is like statistically, it's like sure the best is a man, but like statistically it's just they're people.
Just another like transphobic organization.
Yeah. They also said that trans men would be stripped of their titles they won as women before they transitioned and can be renewed and they can get their titles back if they detransition.
What?
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's super
I
fucked
quit.
up. Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The GOP debate was this past Wednesday.
Did you
night.
watch it?
I didn't watch. I did catch a lot of clips. Of the people represented on the stage, they represented 43% of Republican voters. 53% of Republican voters are favoring Trump in this moment, and the other, I think, 7 or 9 people split the other half. So it was kind of like, what's the point?
Right.
Donald Trump did do a live Tucker Carlson interview on X, formerly known as Twitter.
100% of the hosts of this show support Donald Trump's mugshot.
Yes.
He looks so surly.
The debate was kind of wild. They kind of didn't touch on issues like Social Security, like things that are extremely important to everyone here in the country. It was kind of just grandstanding and talking about like, no, I hate trans people more. No, I think we should ban more abortion. There were a couple, like Nikki Haley, not that she's good in any sense, but
The cream of that crop.
she did kind of represent, it felt like she was representing the Republicans of pre-Trump. She did say that she's like, we're not going to win if we're trying to run on banning abortion federally. Like, we're going to lose so hard, we cannot run on that. Ron DeSantis, I think, was the biggest loser. He is the second leading in polling after Donald Trump. I think he has 13 or 14%, and he just came across as a complete idiot. There's all of these little clips coming out where they like zoom in on his face and he's grinding his teeth and like clacking his teeth against each other, which who knows what that means. But I do think that they kind of piled on, I don't think I'm going to say his name right, Vivek Ramaswamy. They really piled on him. He really looked like an idiot.
Well, he's the most Trump-like in that he seemed the least scripted.
Well, he also was leaning into sound bites. He's like, there was a question about climate change, and he's like, let's be honest, climate change is a hoax. And then you immediately cut back to interviews that he did like a month ago where he's like, climate change is real. He's just saying things to get sound bites, to get people to jump on board, which is worrisome that it almost seems like that's enough for Republican voters.
You're getting what you wanted. You were a month ago. You were like, I hope they all eat each other alive. It was a lot, very like.
Yeah. But I was hoping they would all eat Trump alive a little, which like he came out.
Did they mention him at all?
I just feel like he came out as the biggest winner.
Yes, Vivek said that he was the best president ever.
Oh.
Then why are you running against him in a primary?
Yeah.
That's what Chris Christie said.
Also in Republican news, the group of people that were indicted in Georgia had to turn themselves in this past Thursday for their mugshots. The cream of the crop was Trump's mugshots. Rudy Giuliani got a mugshot, amongst others. And I just love that probably one of the most important images of modern times, being Donald Trump's mugshot, was probably taken on like a digital camera that was made in 2007. This past Sunday, Spain's women's team won the Women's World Cup. This was extremely shocking to people because less than a year ago, 15 of Spain's top players all said that they would not consider being on the world's team. Because they disagreed with the coaching style. So it like seemingly was like a second string team, which is like they're not gonna win, but they did win. They beat out England in 1-0. Olga Carmona scored the game's only goal in the 29th minute. They became the second country ever to win in both the men's and women's World Cups. They also very clearly outplayed England, having more possession time and more attempts on goal. Congratulations to the Spain's women's team. Okay, 2 more stories that I'll get through really quick. A League of Their Own, a few months ago, it was announced that the show would be canceled after a very truncated second season. They were going to be given 4 episodes, but Amazon this past week announced that they are canning that entirely. The show will not get a second season. They cited the writer's strike, and Abby Jacobson came out and she was like, that's bullshit and it's cowardly to cite the writer's strike. I'm very bummed about this show because I feel like this show was such incredible representation. It was a take on the 1992 movie, but they were very more honest about the role queer women played in this, and they also, half the show, the storylines were focused on the teams playing in the league, and then a trans, non-binary woman or person of color who wasn't in the league because they were a person of color, and I just thought it was really great. The show had a lot of heart to it, and also it was a glimpse into what it was like being a queer or trans person in a time where it wasn't talked about or known. So that's a big bummer. One last thing. This past week, 66-year-old Laurie and Carlton on Friday was shot and killed by a homophobic person. Laurie did not identify as an LGBTQ+ person, but she did have a pride flag up at her business. The person, Travis Ikaguchi, fired upon her, killing her, and then was involved in a shootout with police 2 days later, in which he was also killed. It's scary when not only are we as queer people in danger in our country, but also allies that are supporting us. So it's important to support our allies back.
And if you don't know the story, she had a little clothing store in a small town, a rural part of California, and
San Bernardino.
Every time she hung a pride flag, it would get torn down, and she would put up a bigger one. And then this guy went in and shot her dead.
The store was kind of like covered in pride flags.
Yeah.
She was a pillar of the community. She volunteered at a local food co-op. She said she was a vocal advocate for queer rights. It's a really sad story.
I mean, you're putting your neck out there just to fly a flag in some parts, in most parts of this country. So, thank you to all of our allies and friends out there. Be safe, please. I feel very lucky to live here.
Yeah.
It's things like that when I'm like, thank God I'm here. God or whoever.
I did make a comment last week about how people calling this their happy place was a place of privilege, but also just being here in general is also a very privileged perspective, and I include myself in that. Let's take it away to Dr. Sadie across Route 6 at her new veterinary clinic.
Hey everybody, I'm downstairs in the Commons with the legend herself, Jimmy Lee Curtis. Mama, thank you so much for making some time to talk with us. It looks like you're getting ready for not just your next fashion show, but a lot of art happening here.
A lot of art is happening here. I'm doing lots of different projects at the same time. I just like to keep moving in different directions, but simultaneously working on different things. Getting ready for my third fashion show.
Congratulations.
Which is coming up in the end of, I guess towards the end of August. The last tail end of Carnival Week is going to be on the 19th of August. Saturday, so.
And that, we've got a picture back here of the first one.
Kaya performing in her hand-painted and embellished wedding gown I made for her. Yeah, it was really sweet. We're gonna try to do like a theme, a little bit different. So it's gonna be all about Provincetown drag, which is very au courant subject at the moment, as we all know. So that's gonna be like a underlying theme, and then we're gonna do a towny country for weddings and a funeral theme.
Yeah. Where do you come up with this stuff?
I don't know, it just came to all of us. Dave LaFrance is going to help produce again, and hopefully we'll get Margaret to stage manage again, and have some new performers and some new people.
Anybody that was at either one of the first two has said that you've really created one of those types of community events that everybody, it defines Provincetown. Like, this is why people come here, this is why people stay here. You're really doing something to create community.
Well, it was really important for me to make it all-encompassing, to not make it exclusive, so everyone could come to the fashion show. They don't have to pay $100 to come. So like people that work in town can be a part of the fashion show, and also, they tell their mom and dad, and their mom and dad come, it's really sweet. And that's what's, I think that's a part of the Commons. The catapulted me into like a new stratosphere. For sure. Yeah.
And so how was your time in the Commons band?
Too brief. I can't believe it's 2 years have gone by like in a flash. And then this is my last 6 months, starting in April. So it's bittersweet, but really, I started to do my textile work again, which I haven't done since I was in college in England, which is in the 80s. So that's very exciting, and that I'm incorporating that a bit bigger and better. And then we're doing upcycled thrift, paint I sew and turn them into something gorgeous.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I mean, it's always a one-of-a-kind experience.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And then another part of it is this year I'm going to have the whole main room, the main gallery, for 2 weeks. So I'm going to do photography, art installations, my paintings, of course, my fabric stuff. And it's all going to be, it'll be there for 2 weeks. And then on top of that, I'm going to invite Wiley to do a little section.
Who?
Oh, that kid over there, Wiley. And then we're going to also have a fundraiser. So we'll have different artists in town contribute a little painting that we're going to sell for like a little mini fundraiser to be part of, to go to the Commons.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, if you want to buy a little piece of art or a big piece of art or, whatever, there's going to be something for everyone this year.
Excellent. Well, thanks for taking some time to chat.
Thank you so much.
Very clearly not Dr. Sadie. We got our videos swapped up. That was MommaLee. She's fresh off her fashion show last Friday. We actually have a really great clip of a really incredible moment from her fashion show that we're going to air at the end.
But first, please welcome to the show Laurie and Sophie to talk about CPCs. Ladies, can you tell everybody what that means and why we need to be worried?
Right. So CPC stands for Crisis Pregnancy Center, and they are basically nonprofit, extreme right religious organizations, sometimes international, who pose as medical centers wanting to help women. The problem is they are harmful and deceptive, and they set up shop next to real clinics, real reproductive rights. People are going in and out, and they are there trying to dissuade them from having abortion, to trick them to come into their center. The reason that we're here today is because we actually have one of these organizations coming to Cape Cod. And you said, wow, I'm glad we live here. Well, they're coming here.
Right.
And these are the same people that would like to do away with LGBTQ rights. There is a Christian theocracy movement that is trying to end abortion and end gay rights.
So Sophie, you've been interviewing some people about their thoughts on it. What do they think is the scariest part about these centers coming to Cape Cod?
I think what is kind of widely agreed upon about them among, reporters and others is that they advertise really deceptively. So there's like the paid for part of that, which is that they, like a report from earlier this summer shows that their advertising on like Google and other search engines boosts them in Google searches, which means that people who are looking to get an ultrasound or looking to get pregnancy care often wind up going to these sort of ostensibly medical facilities that aren't registered the same way or licensed the same way without unknowingly.
So you're saying Google themselves are putting them ahead of real medical establishments.
Right, and then also just the language that they use is really medical. So like the operator of this mobile clinic is called Your Options Medical. And so the language is just leans in one direction, but as Laurie said, they're really religious organizations, and
the language is wrong.
Right.
There's no options and no medical.
Yeah.
You were saying they're greeting people in lab coats, like presenting themselves as medical professionals.
I can't say that that's what Your Options is doing here on Cape Cod, but in many of the centers across the country, that is what they do. And they do offer ultrasound tests, and sometimes they are vaginal ultrasound tests, and there is no clear evidence that the people administering those tests are licensed medical professionals. And as they're doing them, they are discussing what they're seeing on the screen with the ultrasound as though they're diagnosing. And as we all know, if we go get an x-ray, the person giving you the x-ray can't talk about it, right? It has to be a doctor. And this is how a woman in Worcester nearly lost her life because they told her her pregnancy was fine. She wanted to keep the baby. And a month later, she had to be rushed to the hospital for an ectopic pregnancy. So the fact that they're coming here is frightening. They are everywhere else in the state. And
how many, you said there's a rough estimate of how many of these are already in
there's
Massachusetts?
between 30 and 60 in Massachusetts. And they outnumber real abortion clinics by, I think it's 3 to 1, is one of the estimates. That
federally, I think.
Federally, nationally.
How can they, I mean, I don't know that you have to be licensed to do an ultrasound or anything, but how are they getting away with posing as real medical professionals?
That's a great question.
It is. And one of the people that I talked to, named Carly Thompson, who does this research at Middlebury, specifically on mobile units, has been doing it for years and said she's been trying to figure out the licensing thing for years. I think that a lot of what actually, like the clinic or the center that's here in a van now is actually licensed as a clinic, but a lot of what that entails is about the space itself, like building code and air circulation, and
not about the certifications of providing the medical services.
And some of those people have been trained, and when I asked about, who trains them, one of the places that they look, like schools that they look to that provide like year-long or nearly year-long training is called the Sparrow Solutions Group, and it says that it's equipped by God so like the religious roots of this run really deep, and like I think one of the notable things that can be deceptive and was kind of deceptive to me in reporting this and in trying to get to the truth is that they actually do make a choice between religion and medical services, and they just aren't transparent about what that choice is.
So you're saying that they're not making choices within their practices to favor the health of the woman. They're making choices to what they think this person should be doing based on their religion.
Right, and under the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission federally, that basically states that asking people while you're hiring them about their personal religious beliefs is not job related, and that in order to do that, an organization has to be a religious organization, and they do that. It's faith-based hiring.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're nonprofit religious organizations, so they're exempt from the deceptive advertising laws. They are exempt from following the HIPAA laws that keep our information secret. So people that go in there give all their information over thinking that, well, that's what you do when you go to the doctor's office is fill out these forms. They don't understand that the people they're giving that information to do not have to keep it safe. And we do have some evidence that they are sharing that information with a large database, national database, that could expose people to real harm if they return to a state like Tennessee
there are
or
states,
Texas.
There are states that are passing laws already that if you leave this state to go get an abortion, you can be penalized.
And we have a state law that is supposed to protect people coming here, but it's not airtight. And so some municipalities in Massachusetts have been trying to pass ordinances to protect people, and they've been failing. The city councilors and mayors are getting threatened by these large religious right organizations. Massachusetts Family Institute has threatened the city of Worcester with lawsuits if they were to pass an ordinance. Right now we have 2 bills in the State House that might help regulate the CPCs here in Massachusetts. We need everybody to contact their state reps and their state senators. So for people in Provincetown, Senator Sear and Representative Peake need to know that you want them to co-sponsor and support an act enhancing access to abortion care and an act to protect patient privacy and prevent unfair and deceptive advertising.
And you were saying earlier that, I mean, right now the one on the Cape is a roving one because they're looking for a permanent location and they want to set up in Hyannis because
Yes.
that's where we have abortion services on the Cape.
Yeah, that's an interesting part of this is that last year, before my time, the newspaper was reporting on the total lack of abortion access on Cape. And earlier this summer, medication abortions became available in Hyannis at Health Imperatives. And this center, this unit, relocated here from Western Mass very soon after that. And the director told me that there was an impetus that sort of, they're not completely unrelated, but said that it doesn't plan to station itself outside that clinic. Dr. Nicola Moore, who's based in Truro, who I talked to about this, who's an abortion provider, said that at basically every clinic she's worked at, there's been a CPC either parked right outside or with a brick and mortar location right next door.
So I mean, when you get down to it, they're basically betraying people's trust and assumptions that, like, it's like, this person's here, they've got the ultrasound machine, they've got the goo, like,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing, they're not going to lie to me. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing in the way they word everything.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. In fact, I was standing somewhere when the Your Options medical mobile unit drove by, and I was standing with 4 or 5 other progressive people who are educated and aware, and they all said, look at that, isn't that great? They're bringing healthcare to the Outer Cape.
And it's like you assume when it's like your options within pregnancy, like that, just that language, you're like, oh, people using that language, of course, are going to allow abortion as an option.
Right.
And they're not.
They're not.
You have to, I mean, what's your advice to women to make sure you're walking into the right place? I mean, if they're right next door to each other and they're out there trying to trick you into going into the wrong one, like, this is insidious.
Yes, it is. And this is happening in a lot of places in Massachusetts. For instance, Attleboro, there is a real women's health clinic there, and it's where women from the Cape and the islands have been sent for the past decade or so if they want to have an abortion. And in the same parking lot, in the same buildings complex, is a fake CPC. And Christian rights protesters stand outside of that clinic every Saturday morning and harass women trying to go to the real clinic. In Brookline, near Boston, the Your Options medical clinic there is in the same building as a reproductive rights center. So I would say for people seeking abortion care, make sure you get the right address, the right name, because oftentimes these places have more than one name, and the address is, similar to the address of the real clinic, and the right phone number, so that when you're there, you can call in and say, I'm here. They might have an escort for you to help you navigate the protesters.
Wow. Is there any, like, we can reach out to our state reps, our state senators. Is there anything else we could be doing to?
I mean, I think we have to vote Democrat.
Right.
Right. Right now, that's a real really our only option to preventing a nationwide ban on abortion, which is their goal, right? They are hell-bent, and they have been for many decades. And we've been very comfortable for the past few years thinking we've made such great strides in our, in our country, and until recently. And they're prepared. We're not.
They're very well organized.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like you look at what happened with Roe v. Wade in the past year.
Yes.
And I almost understand why we had our guard down. It was like something like 80% of the U.S. population thinks abortion access is right.
Yes.
And it was the law of the land, and we were like, oh, we did it. And we didn't think it was as fragile as it seemingly is now.
Right. Exactly. Correct. And other laws are also fragile.
Yeah.
That affect this community in particular. And it's all part of the same picture. The forces are coalescing now behind the anti-abortion crowd.
Right.
They're joining forces with the people that want to ban drag queen story hours, right? They're joining up with the gun rights, Second Amendment people. Their tactics are violent, yet they're always worried about us attacking them. But really, they are the ones sending bloody letters to mayors in Massachusetts who might be considering an ordinance. Not my group, not my side.
Right.
And
Are there women who prefer the care of these centers, or are they entirely?
I think yes. I think that would be fine. For them to offer care to women, if they're upfront, it's not abortion care, it's not real medical care. We have diapers, we'll give you a car seat, right?
Yeah.
Take the $17,000 that the Catholic churches here on the Cape raised to bring the mobile van here, spend it on daycare.
Yeah.
Spend it on something that mothers and infants and children really need.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest points that is often missed by the right when they talk about these things. There are so many really important issues affecting women, affecting mothers, affecting families that are important and affect people every day. And this has become the most important issue because it's so dire, and it's just unfortunate that the right has pushed it to the front when we felt like it was behind us, and we were hoping to tackle more things like child care, like paid maternal leave, paid paternal leave, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're going back.
Yeah.
Do you have any good news?
Good news.
You're too young.
The paper always has some fun things in it.
Yeah.
The arts section especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes back to what you were saying earlier. Stay vigilant. It's important to be aware of the things happening around you, especially when there's so much to see happening.
Yeah.
And please reach out to your state reps, your state senators, anyone you can get on the line, and tell them how important this is to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the time.
I know we said we were going to have Dr. Sadie, but we wanted to give her full share because she's doing some really important work. So we're going to show her video to you next week. But we do want to play out, we're going to show you a quick video of the ultimate moment of Jimmy Lee's fashion show, and then we'll be back to send you off. This is a really magical moment from Jimmy Lee's fashion show from this past Saturday at the Commons. Congratulations to Jimmy Lee and everyone who was involved in that.
Enunciate.
Congratulations to Jimmy Lee and and everyone involved in the fashion show at the Commons. It's become like the Bearded Mistress, a new event that really encapsulates the essence and the joy that Provincetown creates. Congratulations to Margaret for creating the visuals and that magical moment to end the Jimmy Lee's fashion show.
Stage manager and producer extraordinaire. You guys, thank you so much for waking up at Provincetown. We want to thank our sponsors.
The Crown and Anchor, Provincetown Brewing Company, The Boat Slip, Shipwreck at the Brass Key, and Provincetown Business Guild. Thank you so much for supporting us here and all the work that we do. And thank you to all our viewers. Thank you for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
We'll see you next Friday with Dr. Sadie.
Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake Up, Wake Up. Can I have some coffee?